Still light traffic, mostly moving along at the speed limit or above on the freeways. Just a little slowdown northbound 99 at 12th Avenue. To the phone now. Here is Dan in Sonoma. Dan?
Hey, Shawn, good morning. Shawn, good morning. There's some hope out there. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you.
There's some hope. Okay, there's some hope out there.
Hope?
The entire state of Kansas is suing Pfizer Corporation. This is a major lawsuit against that mega conglomerate that is murdered and killed. I mean, that's no joke. They have murdered so many people because they knew what was going on. But I'm just happy that an entire state is suing that evil corporation. They're suing them for the effectiveness of the so-called medication, the longevity, and its side effects. They knew, for example, the wording is very, very strong. They knew it wasn't effective. They knew it wasn't a vaccine. They also knew about its side effects. And they're also claiming that they have censored people for speaking up against it. I'm delighted that the state of Kansas is doing this. And we'll see where this goes because this is long overdue. I think this is the first of many lawsuits from Pfizer, Moderna, and, of course, Johnson & Johnson for this so-called vaccine. It was not a vaccine whatsoever. The truth is very much coming out. And I have high hopes for this. But I'm also anticipating the federal government, the Biden administration, is going to make a beeline towards Kansas to interfere with that case in a big, big way. So I'll keep you posted regarding what happens there. I got to talk about something that hit me really hard, and that was the passing of Willie Mays. There's so many things you can say about Willie Mays. I grew up with the Giants, and I'm not a Giants fan, but I do remember. And I love to this day the old, I guess, 60s and 70s SF Giants. Mays was, of course, a big part of that. I was looking up this 71 roster here. You got people like Juan Marichal. You got people like Willie McCovey. You had Dave Kingman on there. I forgot about that he was a Giant for a while.
He was.
Dave Kingman.
Goodness.
Oh, and my father's favorite was Juan Marichal, the pitcher with a high kick and so forth. God, those are fun days. And you contrast that with, what's going on today. You had, Bobby Bonds, who was a class act, and his son is just a piece of, what. Anyway, so I had to be very careful. I could see the FCC censors outside my windows peeking in, saying, "Be careful what you say." But that was a fun group. But regarding Willie Mays himself, I dare say he was the greatest baseball player ever to live. And people have argued with me. I've talked to friends last night, and one friend who's a nice guy, but he's throwing all these facts and figures that there are a few other players that had, higher stats on this and that. You and I, Shawn, we're baseball guys, so you don't necessarily look at the stats. You look at the player. Did that player have that kind of magic? Did that player have all the tools? Willie Mays
Willie did. Yeah, Willie did.
I mean, I look at it this way: if you could somehow magically, you're on the playing field, right? You're in the school ground. And you see Babe Ruth to your left and Willie Mays to your right. I pick Willie Mays every time. I don't even think twice about it. Yes, of course, the Babe was the Babe, right? Big home run slugger, great pitcher, but he did not have the speed and the absolute raw talent and coordination of Willie Mays.
One of the things, Willie was Mr. Clutch, too. It's when you get your hits that matters. I mean, there are some guys that have great stats, but they get their stats when they don't really matter so much. When a game is already one-sided and they or stolen bases even. I mean, stolen bases are cool when they matter, but just to run them up, just to break records is not. I think Willie himself once mentioned if he'd have known stolen bases were such a big deal, he could have stolen more.
See, but the thing is with Willie Mays, I remember being a humble man. I don't ever remember him bragging about himself on any level.
No.
And this is, again, he is the only person that comes close to that regarding clutch hits is like Derek Jeter. You could put him in that category. Now, I'm not.
What about Tony Gwynn?
Ruth. Yes. Oh, yeah. There's a few that come to mind, but again, I don't want to sound like I'm picking on Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth will always be one of the greatest without question.
Well, and they also
damn times.
Ruth was a pitcher too, so
he was a pitcher and a very good pitcher. But he did. I don't think
you can compare the eras really. I mean,
No,
for his time, Ruth was great, but Willie does. When Willie came along, Willie was better. When they started letting the players from the Negro Leagues come in to the major leagues, guess what? They were better.
Yes, they were. They were better by far. And again, it's not fair to compare those eras because stolen bases and speed wasn't really a factor. It was home run power and all that. Of course, some pitching. So, but again, I'm not knocking on the Bay, but
No.
Willie Mays will be missed too. And again, I still stick to my assessment. Well, maybe it's not the right word, assessment, but Willie Mays is the best baseball player I've ever seen. I think I would still say he's the best baseball player ever.
Yeah, and speaking of not complaining, you never heard him complaining about Candlestick Park either.
I did.
Did he?
All did.
I never heard him do it.
No. He did. No. I complained about it. He never complained about it. But when I walked out of Candlestick Park for the last time, I turned my back, didn't look back. That was one of the worst ballparks ever. And by the way, who was it that requested us for a baseball talk? This is for her. What was her name? She called up last week.
Oh, I think you're referring to Melanie in Rockland, I think.
Melanie. Yeah, Melanie. My apologies for my failing memory. This conversation's for you.
Indeed. Well, Dan, we've successfully gone into the baseball realm, and we've also gone way past. We're in extra innings now, Dan.
My fault once again.
So let's put a runner on second, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, bud. Bye.
Take care. It is 7:22.
Something that I never feel that I would ever quit baseball. But as you know, it always comes a time for someone to get out. And I look at the kids over here, the way they are playing, and the way they are fighting for themselves, tells me one thing. Willie, say goodbye to America. Thank you very much.